Alright, it's Chris here with Never Enough Outdoors. I'm here at the lake and I want to show you how to fix backlash. Some people call it a rat's nest, some people call it a bird's nest, but I wanted to try to throw one of those, mess up my reel, and fix it, show you how I fix it. You don't really need any special tools. I do carry a pocket knife, but you really don't need any tools to fix it. Once you get good at it, you can fix it quickly and get back to fishing. I've got another video that shows how to cast a bait caster, and in that video I show you how to throw it so well that you do not get backlash. If you'll look at those steps and follow my directions, you'll do much better when you start out and learn to throw it so that you don't do that. Even the professionals do that though. There's many times when we just accidentally throw it and it messes up. At first I wanted to show you how that occurs, how you get backlash, so you can look out for these things and try not to do them. What happens when you get backlash is you cast your line and your lure flies, and when it stops, when it hits something, it's going to stop moving, and because of that all of your line stops, and it stops at the end of your line, and it slows down production, and then it stops all the way to here. But because you threw with such force, your spool does not stop spinning. If you don't have your brake set correctly or your spool tension set correctly, your spool is going to keep spinning because it's been thrown and got a lot of force moving it. And when it keeps spinning, your line is going to continue building up here. It has nowhere to go because the line's not moving anymore. It's going to build up right here, and it's going to cause a mess. You want to fix that mess before you reel it in. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to try to throw one. It's hard for me because I'm not used to throwing it messed up. I like to throw it, make it land correctly and keep my line all perfect. But I'm going to try to throw and get a rat's nest and show you how to clean it out. Sometimes when you throw, you will accidentally, your line will be wrapped around the end of the rod and it'll throw straight into the water. It won't go anywhere, but your reel will spin and cause backlash. Sometimes you'll accidentally cast straight into a tree above you. That will cause backlash. Sometimes your brake or your tension or your spool is not set correctly, and when the lure hits the water, that will cause backlash. I like to keep my thumb close to my reel, and most every time when my bait hits the water, I touch it with my thumb to make sure it's going to stop and not cause any backlash. Even if I've got it set up wrong, my thumb's going to help keep it from causing backlash. So let's go down to the water and I'll try to throw so that I cause backlash, and I'll show you how to easily fix it. All right, I'm out here at the water and I'm going to purposely do the opposite of what I would normally do. Normally I would want this to fall a little slower than it's falling now. I'm gonna make it even worse. I'm gonna turn my dial down to not free spool, but a lot closer than I normally would. So you see that thing's falling way too fast. I can backlash it right here while I'm just messing with it. It's that easy to do because I got it set so horribly. But I'm gonna throw this out there and I'm not gonna stop it with my thumb. I'm gonna let it mess up. See, it's hitting the water and look at that. Look at that mess. That's backlash. That's a rat's nest. Now the last thing you wanna do is start reeling it in, because that will cause even more of a mess that you may not can fix. I'm gonna pull out a little bit. What you wanna look for is where the line actually got caught on this piece. It's going to run around so much until a piece is going to get caught on it, like a little triangular point. You pull this as tight as you can get it until you can make that triangle, and then you pull it back some and you look for that piece, and sometimes you just got to pull. But look, you just pull and do this and pull until you can find that piece. Sometimes you don't never find it, it just fixes itself. But I'm pulling. I'm gonna pull it some more. Look, down in there, there's a piece down there that's lapped over top of it. You can barely see it. try to grab that and pull it out. And keep pulling this. Keep pulling up and keep pulling this. Eventually you'll find that piece and just pull it until it gets loose enough. Now this one's hard to get out of here, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna keep playing. Look at there. And just keep pulling this out. Now it's stuck again. But I'm gonna look down here, I'm gonna pull it some more. And then pull this one. Then pull it some more. Keep pulling until it gets free. Now I can see right here, this piece right in here is lapped over that thing. It's this thread right here. I can't get my fingers on it. You might can see it in the camera. There's a piece holding that down so I can't pull it out anymore. It's right in here. Keep doing that. You see it lapped over right here? This is this piece right here. I'm gonna pull that one until it can't pull anymore. And then keep pulling. I've got a bad rat's nest right here. I wasn't trying to throw it this bad, but that was a pretty bad one. Look at there. I got it free. I got a lot of line out of my rod. Just take it, hold it with your finger so it don't get tangled up when you put it back in there because you pulled out so much line. Just reel it back up and eventually it'll be tight. You can pull your line back in, go back to fishing. I cast this thing a mile out there. So there's my spinnerbait. I've got it back. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do that again. I'm gonna tighten the brake up just a hair. I'm not gonna cast it quite as far this time, but I'm gonna do it again. Look at that, it's not near as bad, but again, just pull this out until you don't see any of that loose line in there. Because if you start reeling back in with all that loose line, it's gonna mess up your reel. It's gonna be all tangled up again. I'm gonna reel it back in, see if I can do it again a little worse, about like I did last time. See that mess? Now if I were to start reeling right now, look how messed up that is. Eventually that's gonna be an issue when I cast again. It's gonna get tangled up in different parts in here. It's gonna break my line or wear out my line, or it's not gonna cast correctly. So don't reel in as soon as you do this. You wanna pull it back out. Always pull it out. Keep your thumb on it if you need to slow it down so it doesn't tangle up even more. Go in the opposite direction as you pull it out. But pull it out, hold your line with your hand so it ain't loose. Reel it back in and you're back to fishing. Here's an example of sometimes you'll do this. Well, look at that mess I just threw. So again, do not reel. That's gonna cause even worse problems. So just take your line and pull it and until it snags. It might get caught around a part in here, but usually it's gonna get caught around this where it comes into your spool. Pull it till it stops. And sometimes you can snag it and get it go a little farther. Look at that, I pulled it out doing that. Now it's probably gonna get hung up again. But keep pulling it, pull it out. Pull it till it gets hung on something. And when it gets hung on something, pull inside. And as far as you can pull it, and then keep doing this. You don't need any special tools. I almost always do it barehanded, no tools. See, it's getting loose here. I'm gonna put my thumb on it. Keep it from getting loose, pulling this opposite direction. Now it's out. And then reel it back in. Hold your hand on it. So you can get everything tight, reel it all the way back in. And by now your lure's probably been on the bottom, maybe stuck on something. It might be dirty if you didn't want it to hit the ground. So reel it back in. And you're ready to fish again. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna throw it way out there and not stop it. You can just see it mess up. Again, pull this. Look, it snagged. it snags. See that stuff bent over there? Holding it, keep me from pulling it. Take your thumb and slide your reel back so you can get to that stuff. And then pull it out. And then pull the line again. Pull it some more. And keep doing that until it's all free. Look, I've got it all free. Again, hold your hand on it, reel it back in. It's that easy. It's not a big deal. But if you reel, when it happens, if you reel it in, it's going to be a big deal. Because then you're going to be throwing a line that's been backlashed and it's not going to cast as far, or it's going to backlash again and cause it to be even much worse. Sometimes where you got to cut your line and redo it. That's backlash. Pull it. Just pull it out. Sometimes you put your thumb on it again to slow down that spin so it's not backlashing in the other direction. But just pull it out. You don't have to pull it too fast, but just pull it out till you get it all the way out and reel it back in. A lot of people, when they first learn to cast a baitcaster or trying to learn to cast a baitcaster, they throw a lot of backlashes. They don't have it set up correctly. And again, in that video, I teach you how to throw a baitcaster. I try to tell you how to set it up so that you don't do that. Now, the perfect way for me is I'm gonna put this brake probably close to the top. Not all the way, but I like a lot of brake. I like for that thing to hit the water and stop, but at the same time, I hold my thumb on it or close by, and when it hits the water, I usually put my thumb on it, make sure it stops. But you want to keep your spool tension set up so that this isn't just falling way too fast. That's way too fast. It doesn't need to fall that fast. When you go to cast it, it's going to make that spool spin extra fast. Look, I just playing around did that. That's way too fast for that spool to be set up to spin. I like to get it so that I'm gonna tighten it up until it barely falls. See how that's barely falling? That's plenty enough. So when you cast it, look at my thumb. I stopped it. I had my thumb close by to stop it before it hit the water. Look at that. Always keep your thumb handy so you can stop it. That's also what the brake's for. See, I'm gonna put this brake on max. So I'm gonna not stop it with my thumb. Look at that, nothing. It didn't do anything. It landed perfect. So start out closer to max on your brake. And as you get better, or you find a lure that needs to be cast farther, you can turn your brake down. Let's go down to 8. See what it does. It didn't do anything. That's good. That brake's helping us keep from causing backlash. But it's also not allowing us to throw it as far as we want to. So you might want to throw it farther. You can take your brake off some more. Let's go down to 6. Let's see what that does. Oh, it caused backlash, but it's not bad. It did pretty good. That tells me I would probably want this thing on 7. 8 was too tight and 6 wasn't tight enough. Let's see what 7 does. Now this is mainly for people that don't use their thumb. I use my thumb no matter what. My thumb is my brake. But I've got this brake on here on the reel as well. Look at that, perfect. All right, so that's how you clean out backlash. It's that easy. It's just pulling out your line and pulling it the other way until you get it clean both ways. It's very easy. You don't need any special tools. And as you can see, I didn't use one. I used my bare hands to fix it. So try that out. Let me know in the comments if you do it another way, if you have any issues with this way. If you throw a lot of backlash, if you're so good you never throw it. And check out the video that I made to show how to throw a bait caster. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you throw it that way or you throw it another way, or if you always have issues throwing backlash, or if you've got it set up perfectly so you never have any issues. And that's great. Then leave it in the comments. Please subscribe and check out my other videos. Thanks.